Hello, how's about you all on the YTPC? It's Friday. I'm on holidays. It is Friday. Mug of tea. Well, mug of tea with whiskey, of course. Sláinte first. Right, a few to say thank you to. Everybody who welcomed me back from my prolonged stay in Russia, whether it was on YouTube, on Skype, or on WhatsApp, Viber, and Voxer. Thanks to everybody saying hello. Also need to say a big thank you to Ozark Hillbilly 71 who gave me a shout out, or more like a roar out to say I was back. So thanks for that. Today, I'm not going to ramble too much. I'm going to get down to what I said I'd do today in response to Giles Cassidy in Canada. Giles asked me from his my view on the Falcons. He knows I smoke the Falcons, and he said there was several YouTube videos or people mentioning Falcons, and he was generally interested in my viewpoint. I could say that similar. I think they're great. The Falcons, very much a love-hate, it seems to be. Although in saying that, with 44 million Falcons in made, I say that sounds like a lot more love than hate to me. But why 44 million have been sold? Does that answer the question in itself? No, it doesn't. So it's a very personal thing. You know, I started off smoking Falcons way back in 1982. My first pipes. Smoked cigarettes before that. So they were my introduction to piping. At that stage, I'm in Ireland, in the west of Ulster. That's in the north. Farming community. Yes, smokers. Pipe smoking was still very common. The Falcons were very common. They were the in thing, actually, even still then in the 1980s, rather than the Briars. So why is the question? I find that easier for me to be supportive, perhaps because I started off them. I then went to Briars, I think my first Briars really, but 1995, I think was I went to Liverpool. Sorry, not Liverpool, I finished in Liverpool. I finished in England 1995. And I started, I had a few Briars on me, mostly Petersons at the time. I love Briars. I have nothing against Briars either. But it's a personal usage, I think, that there are so many pros for the Falcon system, and if it suits your profile of the type of smoking you're doing and the type of where you're smoking and how you're traveling, I think they have come back into themselves, the Falcons. I think they did go out of favour around the mid-90s. It seemed to be everyone was in the Briar at that stage. Smoking itself was on a decline. So I think people are... do I feel that people are finding out about Petersons, finding out more about Falcons yet again in current day? Yes, I do. I think they've come back strongly of recent. Anyway, my viewpoint. I'm going to disappear here, thank God, says you. I'm going to point the camera down so get rid of my ugly mutt. Let me see a little selection here I've sort of prepared for you, Giles. I think that's in view. Well, I can put on my glasses too, without you seeing them. I'll just say hello. Let's see. I think you can see basically there. Let's start off with the stem, or as we used to call them, the spoon. This is the basic 6 stems that are an offer from Falcon. There is an in-between one. There is a straight, as you see, and a curve. There is a straight with a small, this is a full bend, with a small curve at the end. I don't see the advantage of it, to be quite honest, because on the straight stem, on the straight main part of the stem, I don't see the advantage of a little bit of a curve on the mouthpiece. So I think there's basically two shapes: the straight and the full bend. You have three basically colours. You have the standard, which is a chrome finish. You have the extra, why it's called extra I can't tell you, which is a brown anodized finished. And you have what they call the hunter, which is black. There has been other type specials. There's been, for example, hunters with a white stem, or white central draw part. Again, but that's the six basics as I see it. Now, on to the bowls, which is basically the interesting part. The stems are the stems. We'll talk more about them later. The bowls. I'm trying to show you. This is there's three basic larger bowls. I'll just show you the finish here. This is known as the hyper bowl, which looks like a large Dublin, which is really what it is. There you can see the finish. There is a rustic finish, which is a sandblast, and there's the smooth. Then have the same. You have the same doubling up, a smooth or a rustic. Next shape is what they call the Istanbul. The Istanbul is really a large apple, I would say. And you have, I'm just showing the smooth one of it, the smooth in the, what they call the snifter. It's a type of a, I don't know what you call it, a type of brandy glass, but they call it the snifter in the system. So you can see that's the larger bowls. That's, as I say, there's the three shapes, and they come in rustic or smooth. There is an alternative as well, where they have a meerschaum lined wood, but meerschaum lined here, so I believe it's pouring meerschaum. I tried one once, absolutely hated it for two reasons. It reduced the diameter of the chamber, and to be honest, it stank. I tried for a long time, and I just did not like it. To me, if you want a solution on the meerschaum, don't go for the meerschaum lined. Go and buy, which you can, outside of Falcon, you can buy meerschaum bowls of many different shapes that suit the Falcon stems. So I'll move them slightly to one side. Now, for some reason in my collection here, I have so many here. I've been getting these ones re-cleaned. These were with me in my last trip to Russia, so they're handy here. I have another box of them somewhere. I'm sure there'll be another 20. Probably the same again, but another 6 and but another 20 here, which I have to go through and fix. I have in Russia about that I didn't get in the way it happened the last time I was in Russia. I had to go down to Latvia. I went back to Russia again, to a different place, and I had left some pipes in the original place, but hopefully I get them back, because I have some shillelaghs there, and I have some which I can't show you here, which I'll show you the next time when I do the full collection. But we're not really here to show the full collection, we'll show the basic Falcon system. So anyway, let's get back to the basic shapes. I'm only missing one basic shape here in the range. I haven't got the Bulldog here for one reason. It's a small version of, basically, I would say, the Dover or the Plymouth, only this part, instead of being straight and down, it's the other way, angled and down, angled that way and down. It's another good bowl. So here's your basic bowls. Let's start off the apple. it's an apple shape. Now, every bowl has the same bottom. That's going to connect to your, as a washer. It has a thread, which is painted by Falcon. Every bowl is the same. They're very simple. I'll show it later when we do one. It's a quarter turn, puts them on, and secure. After the apple, we have the Genoa. Genoa, large apple. Some people say it's a strawberry. Take your pick. The system Falcons don't call it. They call it apple Genoa. Next is what they call the billiard. We'd probably think of that more as a billiard, straight. They call it billiard. They're probably more correct if you look at the billiard cue, where it starts to taper in. The billiard has the thinnest walls. I actually use it for a flake size up to the first knuckle. Diameter is about 22, I believe. And you can see this is the difference. These first ones here I'm showing you are the Hunter bowls. Easily recognize them because they are more natural looking with just a bit of wax on them. They're a wee bit dearer, slightly. I'm talking about $3 or $4 compared to, say, the smooth. Take the two together. This is a smooth. It's not. The Hunters are actually believed to have a better briar. No fills in them, and no pits. The smooth, they say you can have them, but they're coloured. They're dark brown, as you can see. Again, the difference between them in price, as we'll talk about later. Here, these are 1750 euros, all the Hunter ones, whereas the rustic, which is the same as this here with the rustic type finish, are all 15 euros. Doesn't matter the size or shape, they're 15. Apart from the original large bowls I told you about, well, they are 20 euros. So moving on to shapes, then what we would usually call a Dublin, or we'd usually call it a billiard, sorry, they call, the Falcon call it Dublin. It's a thick wall. Again, I use them for flakes as well generally. It's a good thick wall. It's past the first knuckle. It's 22 across as well. Moving ahead, we move to a wider bowl. These are about 24, I believe, in diameter. Shape, what we would probably think of a bulldog type. They call the Dover. Probably not bulldog. Double usually does bend it, but it's you get the idea. It's very similar. And again, you get them in the brown. This is the Hunter, and this is the classic smooth, and there is the classic rustic in each of these shapes. Falling onto a slightly bigger one, slightly bigger. It's called the Plymouth. Plymouth, like the Dover, named after two ports in Britain. And you can see the similarities between the two bowls. This is slightly a three shape. This is a straight down and in shape. Good thick rims. You see the standard thread and hole at the bottom. And the last one, which we would consider a Dublin, or I would consider a Dublin, if anyone wants to argue that point, they call the Algiers. So these three bowls, the larger ones, seem to be like after ports mainly. This is the Dover, the Plymouth, and the Algiers. Now, as I said, all of those are available in the three finishes. Hunter, which is a nice natural finish, brown smooth, known as the classic smooth, and then there's the classic rustic, which is dark with a sandblast. So that's your bowls. That is your stems. So my next point was just show basically how they work. I'm sure people do know how, but let's take, because I'm going to smoke one now as well, so I'm going to take what I do smoke. I usually use my stems and my bowls basically colour coded. I use the chrome finishes I use for my rustics, classic rustics. I use my extras for my classic smooth, and I use my hunters, which is a black stem. I use with the hunter lighter bowls. It also coordinates nicely for me. As everyone knows, I'm basically an English Balkan, and then I have several of either Virginia Burleys or Burley Virginia combinations as my tobacco range. So I usually, in my hunters, which is black is my Balkan, so that's why I usually smoke my Balkans in there. Very little difference between Balkan and Oriental. If I go to my extra for E is for English, and then my English usually go through that, and I put my classic smooth through it. And as I say, my Virginias and Burleys go through my classic rustics. The exception to that is I do have separate barrels, separate bowls, which I would smoke my other type of tobaccos I do like, which would be a Lakelandy type, something maybe with a little bit of casing in it. Certainly, if I'm smoking a Condor, which I would only use the Condor long cut, which is more a Lakeland, and certainly will ghost your pipe. I will use a separate for that. Again, as you wish. It's, there's 6 stems or spoons. I'm showing 16 different bowls here. 6 times 16. There's your range of pipes alone sitting there. So, and I could rotate on those bowls alone, whatever I smoke, without any worry at all. So, getting down to the next question for you, Giles. What do they like to smoke? Are they good to smoke? What is the pros and cons of the system? That is the basic system, invented by Ken Lee Bug from Indiana in 1936. I think it was first patented in 1940, but due to the war and the lack of materials, it was 1949 before they were starting to be mass produced, and they were mass produced in the UK, not in the States for some reason. I don't know why, but it became established in the UK. And since then, 1949, 44 million have been produced. Quite a number. Where are those smokers now? You had some stories to tell, I'm sure. Anyway, let's get back to the pros and cons. I'm actually going to like one now because I'm dying for a smoke on a Friday to drink with my whiskey and my tea. So what would I like with my whiskey? I'm drinking a Assam tea with a good Irish whiskey. And, well, as more often than not, and because I'm nearly finished the jars, I'm going to, once again, to Ashton's Artisan Blend. My tobacco of the last 3 years, number 1 with me, certainly number 1 English with me. Wonderful tobacco, certainly is an artisan's blend. I think it's just right. The little bit of Syrian Latakia in a lovely Turkish Oriental and some beans from Virginia, which I believe are a stove Virginia, with a little bit of Perique, which is just noticeable on the tongue, but in no way does any of them overtake each other. Beautifully balanced, strong, full flavoured, full tasting, and actually is would be used actually for me in the range of, little people don't know the Ashton range. This would be in the range of a nightcap. Only I think much better than a nightcap. as, and I think the word I've used or I've seen other people use is it's tastier and more savoury taste. Personally, I don't like sweet tobaccos at all, and that's the only reason probably I don't like aromatics. I like a savoury. I tend towards the Oriental and Balkan. If I call the Latakia as well Oriental tobacco, and it's just a matter of getting that blend right. And I think Ashton get it right. I could smoke this all day. I could smoke this every day. If I had no other tobacco, I would take this one. Certainly, if I had no other English, this is my number one every time. I was a Dunhill, my 965, a nightcap, and the standard full. All lovely. Of course, I love them still. But this, I've been smoking now constantly for 3 years. It's never ever out of my rotation, and that's to me is how you know it if you're liking it. My system, which we can talk about later, this is never out of it. My cellar is full of this. I keep, I would say, 20 tins, a kilogram of this constantly topped up. Because I am afraid someday that Syrian disappears, we end up with replaced with the Cypriot, and I think it becomes slightly more harsher, smokier, and they'll start tinkering with the recipe to get more like the nightcap. So anybody like a good, decent, strong English, anybody who likes a nightcap or a 965 or a standard Dunhill, that range, a good Latakia GLPs, go for that. It's wonderful. If you do get it and you don't like it, I'll take it. So I'm going to smoke some of that now. Oh. Now, hi YouTube. Going to be a small continuity break here because I was called away by my wife. So I'm back, trying to pick off where I left off. I think I have recharged the Irish tea. It's got dark now, so I'm using the lights. Hopefully it's okay. I think we left off where I was going to fill a bowl, and I've been looking forward to it, to tell you the truth. Got some here. Remember, it's the Ashton's Arson blend, my favourite. So I'll just open this. I'm going to choose a pipe. As I'm smoking in English, I pick the extra being the normal, and I pick up a pipe. I think I'll go for the Hunter pipe actually. I have ready. We'll go for the Bulldog or the Dover. We go for the Dover ship. Now, as explained in the stem before, in here is the humidome. There's an option of putting in a small ring, which is like a pipe cleaner ring, which connects a filter and also acts to collect any moisture. The system, as I stated, you see the rifled stem or the draw. The idea from the engineer originally was that as the smoke travels through the rifled style draw hole, it condenses any moisture which runs back down into the humidome part, which is separate from your chamber completely. So any moisture is collected in what we would call the sink and allows for a cooler smoke and a drier smoke, which certainly to me is a great solution. It's amazing the amount of moisture does come off, whether it's from drilling down the pipe or it's actually with the moisture and tobacco condensing and running back down. And what you can do, I'll put in one of the stems and one of the rings. Just bear with me. I have them here in my pouch, just to show you. The Falcons come with their own rings they make. It's simply a pipe cleaner ring with a small bit of wire. The wire simply is to hold it in place in your draw hole, and this goes round your humidome. Why buy them? They're a crazy price for what you're getting. I simply use pipe cleaners, cut them, wrap it around a pencil. Does the same job. In a single pipe cleaner, you can get 5-6 rings. So why bother paying $1.20 or €1.25, €1.50 for 25 when you can get 5 or 6 out of a pipe cleaner? So simple. Pops on. You can see that. Sits in the humidome. Take your bowl, lined up, quarter turn, pipe's ready to go. Always load your pipe when connected. Now here's the one thing you'll not see. The big advantage is how forgiving a pipe it is. You don't need to use a Frank's method. You don't need to use by tapping and refilling. You don't have to worry about trying to get the airspace at the bottom of your bowl. You have plenty of airspace in the humidome. This allows you to pack the bowl basically as tight as you wish. It's to say, it's not the Frank's, it's not the 1, 2, 3 method, it's not the Goldilocks baby, mother, father type fill. It's more like your cannon musket fill. Drop your tobacco in and ram it down. The bowls are smaller, but because they're so forgiving, you can easily get as much in these bowls as, let's say, here. There's a Stanwell standard. You can see the difference in size of the bowls. Not much in the diameter size, but it's a much deeper hole, bigger pipe. Again, ignore this part because in our pipe that is actually the humidome. So I will get as much tobacco in that, if not more, in this pipe than the standard briar. And I don't have to worry about the packing at all. I'm going to prove that point. I'll just take this tobacco here. You just see it. I'm just dropping it all in. And rather than that being a light tap where you can do the Frank's method or whatever method you use, this is different. You simply stick your finger in there and you can ram it down without any fear at all. There is still plenty of draw due to the hole on the base. The air gap is in the humidome, and there's no obviously stem hole at the base. Everything will come from the bottom. So I'll fill that a bit more, and I'll literally push that down just to give you an example. Leave a bit of room at the top for the flare up on your light. I simply clean it up. I push down, completely not thinking about how tight I'm packing it, or have I got the right air at the bottom. Is it loosely enough packed? That was a flake, which I'd used in this pipe. I don't mind either. I'll rub it out and push it in, or I'll fold and I'll ram it in there as well. Again, no problem, as you'll see when I smoke this, how easy it is, how forgiving it is. So I have pushed that in, basically as tight, more tight than I even usually. I've left room, tiny bit of room at the top for a flare up pipe, ready to go at last. Not quite. The disadvantage of the Falcons, for somebody starting off the Falcons, coming from a briar, is probably the stem. The stem is a nylon stem, as we mentioned. It is much narrower. So it's a funny feel in the mouth if you're coming from the broad briar stems, mouthpieces. it's not causing any restriction in there. It's just the way they're made. I came from a Falcon, so I was pretty used to it. But I am a clencher. These mouthpieces are made from a nylon rather than a vulcanite or an ebonite or an acrylic. They are softer. They certainly will, if you clench like me, will tooth mark. So you use a softy bit. Softy bits in this part of the world are very hard to get, believe it or not. And for this size of stem, anyway, I don't know what the softy bits are like. I use my own. I make my own. I use, much cheaper by the way, I just simply a bit of hose pipe, 15mm diameter, clear, so you can see the black underneath, or if you have a white stem you'll see the white, or you use a nice orange or red stems or whatever colour stems they come in now, the clear still allows you to see it. I simply cut them. I keep a wee box of 8 with me in my bag. They're very easy to sterilise these ones. You simply boil them in the water. Nothing will ever happen to them. They're hard wearing. Take a hard clench, even like me. They simply go over the top like any other. Slide it on. Basically, there you go. Some people like to keep it level with the bit. What I actually do with, in my case, because I do like to clench, and now and again I like to draw it through the mouthpiece. As I push it over the bit is protruding. This way I can clench, no problem at all, and get the full power through that way. If I don't wish to clench, the way the shape of the actual falcon, it tapers, I can push that down, no problem at all, and I can smoke away normally. Bring it back up to the clenched position. For cleaning, it comes off. I throw them in boiling water or a drop of whiskey again, just to keep the taste. Cheap, easy softy bits. I know what you pay for softy bits. Was it €2 for 2 or €1 each, or €1.50 each? I know what they are. 1 metre tubing, which will last a long, long time. €1.50. So there's the economics of that one, and I think it actually looks a better system. It takes a very hard bite. Falcon, extremely light. With that system there, I'm sure I'm 31, 32 grams, with 2 or 3 grams of tobacco in there. Light eating, clenches on the teeth. So let's get this. I can taste it already. Get this lovely stuff lit. I like to use a match when I'm at home. Get the light, take light. Give you a charring light, a good charring light. Some people just do it too quick, I think. Of course, the usual problem, where did I put my camper? Check my bag. Delicious. It's just a wonderful balance. I'm going to have a wee smoke of this first. I'm dying for it all day. Small bit of flare up. Put it down. It was one light. No need for a second light, as usually the case. Tobacco's packed down tight. One light and we're away. What could be easier? As I said, I'm a function rather than a form man. More important to me, what's burning in the oven than the rest. The rest is basically 2 holes. But as you see from the function, it works fine. Light, easy to pack, forgiving. You won't get goop or moisture at the bottom. It'll catch in the humidome. Not much to worry about. Only enjoy the tobacco. That's all I want to do. Oh, that's just delicious. You know, the Ashton is really like comparable to the nightcap, but I think the word is used much more savoury taste. I think it's the Oriental they've used, but certainly it's the drop of Syrian Latakia really helps the mixture rather than the sipping. It's not as woody smoky. It's much more creamier. A nice flavour to it. Seems to match with the other Orientals superbly. Not harsh. Nightcap can't have that. Everything else is quite similar. Strength. There is the woodiness. The Oriental, Turkish. Slight bit of prick. Just tasting it now. Very subtle, the prick, but you can feel it just on the tongue. Nightcap can be a bit more stronger in the prick side. To me, my number 1 tobacco for the last 3 years. Always in my rotation. I have loads of it in stock. I'm afraid of the Syrian disappearing. So, what else can I say about the Falcon? Well, when I'm working, I also like to put down my tank. It's a sitter. I'll just move the screen down and show you. Let's see room amongst all this stuff. It sits, as does the straight ones, obviously. So you can put down your pipe and pick it up again. No worries. Hands free in the mouth, hands free on the table. If your mouth's getting a bit full, or drool, there's your swallow. Let your tamp down, keep the tobacco going. Perfect. Now, one other thing you can do with the Falcon, as I said, it is like the army mounts. No need when you get the gurgle to put down a pipe cleaner down your stem and try and get rid of the gurgle that way, which can be a bit messy and a bit of a nuisance. If it really gets gurgly, you can twist off. If that gets full of moisture, even if it gets more than what is allowed in the not caught by the ring, simply get a tissue, wipe it round, reconnect, no damage done, your pipe is fine. You cannot do that with most tenon versions of briar pipes. Keep smoking. Light, easy clench, put it down the table. Problem with gurgle, simply take it off, tissue around, reconnect, re-smoke. It is very smoker friendly. And for the beginner, perfect. Doesn't have to worry about his packing. He can just ram it in there as much as he wants. Allow a little bit for the flare up at the start of your light. One light usually takes it, as long as the tobacco isn't too moist, and away you go. Why I like to smoke the Falcon. It is hassle free every time. People say it's not a briar, smoking through the metal. Sorry. All the burning is in a briar pot. Perfect. Easy, light. Now, doesn't suit everybody how it looks. That's a personal thing. As I said, I am not a form over function. The aesthetics to me, I actually think they're quite pleasing, the aesthetics of the Falcon, but slightly biased. I've had these all my life, used to it. What else can I say? The other main advantage for me is my lifestyle of travel. As you saw before, there is 6 stems, 16 bowls. If I'm traveling, usually by air, and usually with one bag, a carry-on bag, I don't want to be carrying much. This is my travel bag, my pipes. I carry 5 bowls or more, 2 to 3 stems. Can carry a stem in my pocket if I wish. In it, I also have a detachable small bag. This holds exactly 5 bowls. If I was going away for the day just, not even night, what I do, I like to smoke, I'll take the pipe back, several different types of tobacco during the day. So, rather than carrying multiple tobaccos and all the rest, I will pre-fill 5 bowls. So, to stop the tobacco falling out, I use, if I was at night time going away the next day, I will fill 5 bowls. I know from my colour system what's what. So, just to give you examples, wind caps, fill my bowl. And just for example, if I was to fill, I put my tobacco in there just to stop it from falling out. I put on my wind caps. I also have the wind caps if it is windy, as I'm working outside quite a lot. I usually carry 3 golds and 2 silver tops. Golds represents English and Balkan, so just as a quick reference. But I know from the bowl colour anyway, usually, what's what. Each of these will be filled with the tobacco of my choice. Nothing ever drops out of the bottom. It's just tightly packed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my 5 pipes when I'm going out for the night, going away for the day, or whatever it is. I can carry a spare pouch if I need, but if I really want to travel light, it's that bag, my tamper. I'll put some cleaners in here. I'll carry 2 stems in my jacket. They easily fit inside a shirt or a jacket. So that would be my simple day away. If I'm going away longer, this sits in here. I have my pipe cleaners, spare lighters, matches, my softy bits, spare tobacco pouch, which inside would carry about, again, several different plastic bags of different tobacco. It's a simple travel bag, room for a belt, carry it on the belt. If you don't want to carry a bag about with me. Now, there's 2-3 stems, minimum of 5 bowls. tobacco in a pouch bag, cleaners, lighters, matches, tamper, softy bits. What more do you need? Not much. Perfect system for me travelling. The Falcons are very robust. I'll take this back. They are a very robust pipe. The metal at the end of the day. And they are cheap, as I said, so worst comes to the worst. Lose one. Not difficult to replace. Buy a stem, buy extra bowls, whatever. This is what I got first. Sitting down there too long talking. See how she takes the match again. Take the match. Take leg. And we're off again. One match. Just delicious. Really, I don't mind how hard I puff, as long as it's not a bright Virginia, which will give me tongue bite. I say I'm not really a Virginia man anyway. Not much more to say. If that answers most of your questions, Giles, why I prefer, certainly as an all-day carry-away pipe system, I enjoy the Falcons. As I said, suits my lifestyle of work. Outside and travelling a lot. My tobaccos, you also asked me how my tobaccos. Generally I carry either 2 English and 1 Balkan, or 2 Balkans and 1 English. And I would have then either a Virginia or a Burley, and maybe something else, perhaps a Lakeland, or perhaps a Vapor. I will open 5 tins, whether they're 100 or 50 gram tins, and I will smoke them through before I open my next tins. I like to keep my tobaccos in tins and smoke what I have open. So basically my rotation currently, it's usually roughly a month, anywhere from 300 to 500 grams. So happens this month in the jars. I use the seal jars. These are the 50, holds 50 grams easily, and then if it's a 100 gram tin, I use the bigger jars. So that's the 5 tobaccos I will have open in my current rotation. Ashton's Artisan Blend, HH, this is McBaron's Vintage Syrian, let's shine that, Solani White and Black, which is basically more a Latakia, I think, Virginia, with a slight hint of berry or plum. I wouldn't call it an aromatic though. I am actually this month, believe it or not, I'm smoking 1 aromatic. I haven't got the tin for it. I've a little bit left, and I'll tell you why. I have so little of it because I didn't agree with me that well, and I sent it on to, I think, the guts of the 100 grams to my good friend and cousin and Celtic cousin in Wales, Dan. I think he likes the amaretto taste. It was the Larson's 1864, which is a Danish aromatic, amaretto, cocoa, vanilla, maybe a liqueur as well. Too much for me, taste wise. Well, that's 3, that's 4, and the other one on my rotation this month, my Virginia or Burley, is the McBaron's HH Mature Virginia. I'm not too sure if this stuff's been made anymore, but it seems to be still available here. It's already a mature Virginia. They say it's 22 different leaves in here, with 15 of them are Virginias, stoved, matured, already for years before they put it in the tin. And if these are no longer being produced, which I was told they weren't being produced for about 4 or 5 years, then it's a well-aged tobacco. Do I like it? Not a run to, certainly not, as you could probably tell by the jar. There's quite a lot of it left. I smoke 1 bowl of it a day against all the rest, and it was okay. I'd smoke anything at the end of the day, but it's I like to have something different, keep my palate fresh for Falcons in English, which I keep running back to. I have my next 5 ready. When these are finished, which will be in through. Next 5 is the Rat Rays Black Mallory. Very tasty English. Very nice, actually. There is my next Ashton ready. My 3rd element of Baltic English, slightly different. It's probably more Oriental. See if that's light's hitting it too badly. Skiff mixture from Samuel Gareth. Tasty Orientals. Probably my favourite Virginia. Samuel Gareth's Full Virginia Flake. As famous as any tobacco you're going to get. Quite like that, actually. And as my 5th element for next month, I'm going for the other HH element, the HH Acadian Perique. That's Acadian Perique, yeah. Quite a tasty vapour. I think the HH range is excellent. If you add in the Dark Fire and the Bold Kentucky as a completion of the range, an excellent range of tobaccos. So, that's my review of the Falcons. I showed the way I smoke and how I store my current tobacco range. It sort of assists with the. I showed that didn't mean to review any of the tobaccos. It's just to show you how I keep 5 types of tobacco and how the Falcon system works for me. So all that being said, all I can say is I wish everybody a wonderful weekend. So nice to be back home. And free for a week. I hope everybody has an enjoyable week as I will have. So without any further ado, I wish us all the best of Irish. Be good, be safe, be well. And that I will say goodbye until. I will give a small note. I did promise I'm getting close to my 100 subs. My next video will be a small explanation of what I'll do for a giveaway. I'm not a lover of competitions myself, but tradition being tradition, and a little bit of generosity back to the community. And for those who subscribe to me, there will be a small competition, pure draw for the subscribers without doing anything. Then there'll be a small request. I have to think what yet. And for a VR response for people who like to do that, and there'll be a separate prize from that, and probably a 3rd prize for which I think is the best answer of those replies. So, Art again, talking too much. I'm definitely saying goodbye now. Keep it lit. Thanks everybody. Take care. God bless. Bye now.